Hello, welcome to Real Frank Movie Reviews. Thanks for checking it out. In this episode, we're going to review the new movie, Prey, available to stream on Hulu. My special guest reviewer and I will be talking about spoilers, so if you want to see it first, watch it, come back, and check this episode out. We're going to be breaking this movie down, comparing it to the other Predators, and where this may fit in the Predator world. And could this be one of the biggest surprises of the summer? All that coming up next.
Real Frank.
All right, welcome back to the show, Kevin. How you doing, Kevin?
Good. Thank you, Frank. And yourself?
Fantastic. So I have to be honest with you, with this new movie, Prey, like a prequel to the Predator movies, when I first saw this advertised, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go again. You know, leave this franchise alone. It's not working. Just let it go. It's not.
I'm sort of on the same wavelength with you, right? They've been hit or miss. Earlier movies were better. But yeah, the last couple haven't been good.
All right.
Sure.
So could you give the viewers a synopsis, an overview of what the movie was about?
Yeah, I'll make it simple. It's really, take the concept of the first Predator movie where you have one Predator against a band of people, but move it back in time to the early 1700s and set the Predator against a tribe of Comanche Indians, right?
So like we find out that the Predators have been coming to Earth way earlier than we expected.
Yeah.
300, 400,000 years before, and the Indians were Native Americans, excuse me if it's not politically correct, Indians, for giving them problems, and they were dealing with the Predator at that point. So, yes. After watching this movie, what was your overall opinion of it? Did you enjoy it?
Quite a bit, actually. This easily goes into one of the best movies I've seen this year.
Whoa! Whoa! Yes. I wouldn't expected that comment from you, Kevin. I'm blown away. Wow.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. And I liked it too. It was short. It was a 90-minute movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It was lean. It got to the point. It kept building on. Each action set piece got bigger and bigger, and you just had the right amount of tension, action, and character development. I thought the director did a really good job on this movie for sure.
Surprisingly here, Kevin, I kind of agree with you, but I have one problem with this movie.
Sure.
One problem. The lead actress, Naru, the character Naru, okay? I'm looking at this girl, and I look at her, and I'm like, there's no way. You look at some women, right? And you look at certain women, and you're like, man, she's a badass. Like, she can kick some ass, right? Like some of these UFC fighters, you no doubt they could tear. I look at her, I'm sorry, Kevin, I don't see a badass there. And her acting to me in some scenes were suspect. And I'll call out one scene in particular, which was a sweet scene, the scene with the bear, right? She's running from the bear, she's trapped, and the bear, and I did not feel real fear in her eyes or anything in that scene.
I could see that interpretation. I if there's a fault in her performance, I overlooked it, right? So
that's my own opinion, though.
Right. And it's another thing is I was curious your thought of, did you believe her that she could take down the Predator? And I wanted to, because the movie, to be honest, it sets up everything that happens, right? Mm-hmm. Like the dog gets in a bear trap.
Right.
You don't know the bear trap's going to be involved somehow, some way in the future. She's teaching herself how to handle the hatchet, right?
Yep.
So I know this hatchet is going to be involved somehow, some way. A lot of foreshadowing of setting up stuff for the end battle. There's a lot of other little pieces I'm forgetting about too, but those are two examples. So to you, the whole she's learning how to use the axe, she's learning how to. So that didn't quite give you the believability to the final battle, basically.
I appreciated that stuff, right? I understood that stuff. I understood where they were going. She's working on her stuff. But my issue wasn't with her skill set. It was the strength part. Like the scene where she is fighting the predator. She has her axe, it's inside the predator, and she swings over and pulls him down. I just don't see her being able to pull that giant predator down when she's messing with him. It just to me wasn't believable that she was that strong enough. I believe in her fighting skills. The way they built it up. Okay, I'll give them that. Like you said, they had the Rocky montage training scenario throughout the movie with her training.
Well, it wasn't quite that. It wasn't quite Rocky, but they would throw little bits in there.
Yeah, it wasn't as corny or something. They did a very good job with it. I'm just teasing about that whole thing. But yes, you can see it was building up. She's learning how to fight. She's getting better with her little hatchet thing with the string and stuff. So. And she's trying. You see, she tried to go after the cat. Was that a cougar or something?
Yeah.
And she loses the battle with that. Gets knocked out. Luckily, she doesn't die. And you can see she's sloppy, but she's learning as she's going. It's building up to the big scene with Predator. But her acting, like the scenes where she should have been scared, like that bear coming after her. That should have been terrifying, right? And you can see she was trying to, but I just didn't believe. She was scared. It didn't feel.
Oh, let's be honest. That's a minor nitpick. It's so I was so engrossed in the bear, the whole setup of the bear, and it was cool how the set pieces got bigger. So you started off with the predator hunting smaller prey, right? You moved on to the next big thing would have been the mountain lion scene, right? That's the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you moved on to the bear. Then he moved on to this bigger battle, which is really cool, right? I don't want to go into that quite yet, but to me, that fight between the predator and all those French trappers, that was a really cool part of the movie. So,
yeah, for sure. And I'm not knocking this movie. That was my only issue with that character. And like you said, building up to the animals, you could tell they put a lot of thought into this version of the movie, which is great. And I don't know if you caught this. I felt there was like a little tribute to the first one with Arnold Schwarzenegger where the group of them are out there looking for the cat, like in the jungle with Arnold. They're all out there in the jungle. Yep. I thought that was kind of like a throwback to the original Predator.
There was a line in there too. It's escaping me, but there was a line that stuck out me from the original Predator. Do you remember what that line was? Did you catch that?
No, I must have missed that part. But you could tell they embraced they embraced that first one.
Yep.
And that's the one they were kind of trying to honor with this one. Like
exactly.
It was more of that type of formula where the other ones were just like ridiculous.
And it's also the other thing I wanted to mention too that just caught to memory is the bait scene, how she baited the cougar, and then that paid off at the end too when she used that French trapper as a bait, right?
Right, exactly. Let's go back to that bear scene though. That bear scene was one of the best scenes I've seen in a movie in a long time. Like, I don't know how they did that bear. Was that bear CGI'd or?
It was. If I had one knock, and for me when I was watching it, the CGI animals were not. They stood out to me, right? The bear had certain parts that said, "Oh, this is obviously a CGI bear."
Right. Okay, I get that, but it looked good, man. I mean,
it did. The
way they shot the movement of the bear.
Yeah.
The way that whole scene was intense with that bear. I loved that scene.
Yes. Especially when the predator killed the bear, raised the bear up and gutted it, and the blood was just dripping down on the predator. That was a cool scene.
It was a great scene. One of the best I've seen so far this year was that bear scene, because I don't think I've seen anything similar to that ever with the way they handled that bear, and that bear seemed menacing.
Yes, no, that was really good. That was a really good action set piece they put together.
Yeah, for sure. What did you think of her brother?
I liked him. I liked. I mean, some of the. Sorry, I mean, I'm trying to think of any other characters that really stood out to me from the tribe. I mean, you had the mom, you had the other hunters, but the other hunters were there just to move plots along, right?
Yeah.
But no, I thought the actor that did that was really good, right? I liked the chemistry he had with the other actress. They were playing brother and sister, right? I believed it. Right?
Yeah, that was pretty believable.
Yes. You know, he was definitely a highlight of the movie for me, right? I really enjoyed that performance he gave. So.
Yeah, he did a great job, and I liked his whole character. Like he was a great killer. Like he could track, and he would take care of his tribe, and they awarded him with a status. He achieved a certain status within the tribe.
Right, and I guess I also wanted to mention I really liked the direction of this film too. I liked how the director took time to show you the landscapes, right? I really enjoyed that part of this movie. You got a sense that you were a part of this world because as the actors moving through, he took the time to show big landscape shots, which I always appreciate, right? And showing in pictures of it in the mountains or when she's walking up a cliff, you would see the whole thing. I really enjoyed that part of the movie too.
Yes, the cinematography was pretty damn good in this movie. Like you're saying, you got soaked up into those scenes because they were pretty awesome the way he shot those, and making it feel like you were part of the nature that they were experiencing as they were walking through this. It wasn't so much a jungle; it was more of like a woods, nature, hilly area. No, he did a great job of conveying that and making you feel a part of the environment with these animals that were being slaughtered.
A lot of animals died in the movie for sure. Exactly. It was interesting, like when you first introduced the predator, you had that whole like the bug, the rodent ate the bug, and then the snake ate the rodent, and then the predator killed the snake.
Yes.
A lot of animal killing going on.
And the scene was that a wolf? That was a wolf, wasn't it? That was pretty cool too with the wolf. The wolf is chasing, like you said, was it a rabbit? And then the predator goes after the wolf. And the way he cuts the head off and pulls out the spine, like the head's still attached to the spine, was pretty cool. That looked really good.
That reminds me too. So because the predator is 300 years in the past, their technology is not quite there. So I think they were trying to show with that scene is, hey, this predator isn't wearing any armor, right? Because a lot of the animals were like, I mean, the wolf scene especially, the wolf bit the predator, so you saw the green blood. Right. And then you saw the green blood in his mouth, right? So again, I think that was just another foreshadowing of, hey, this predator can be hurt by arrows and spears and stuff like that, for sure.
And he got hurt quite a bit. Like
he did.
Which is interesting. So when he goes into invisible mode or camouflage mode, shouldn't that blood be showing up? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You know, should we be able to see the blood? Like he's bleeding, we should see the blood.
I try to think if there was a time. I mean, he would get bit and you'd see blood come off of him for sure, but you're right. So that's a good question.
All right. My other issue with this movie is maybe you can explain it to me, and maybe I'll change my mind on this one. Maybe I just need some elaboration on it. So, the end, she steals his helmet. His helmet has the auto targeting system in it, right? She sets it up and she uses it against him. How did she know how to use the targeting system? Or was that already set up when she knocked the mask off, the helmet off?
I believed it, and I think I believed it because that was again set up in an earlier battle. Was it during the trapper scene when his helmet got knocked off? I think it was, right?
Yeah, she knocks it off.
Yes.
So I don't know
And
if
she
it was
saw
on.
it when he was shooting the arrows.
Right.
That they would track around to the device, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they also showed it that when they were in the woods, or not the woods, but the field, when she was escaping from it, that she saw how it worked, right? There's the 3 dots on the guy.
Right, she saw
he got
that.
shot. And then when it got knocked off, she was also paying attention that, especially on the scene when his brother was on horseback in the camp and it was off his head because it got knocked off. She saw that he's trying to shoot his brother, but they were curving around towards wherever the device was looking at.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So
was it? I believed it.
It was on. So you think the targeting system was on when she knocked it off, so it stayed on, and then?
No, I just think it just activates with the device. Whenever he pulls this device out and is ready to shoot, it just naturally gets activated.
Oh, okay. All right. So I changed my
I
opinion.
believe that. I think they set that up well enough. They showed at least 2 times how that worked. They also showed. They also set up where she saw that anything he shoots from this gun goes to wherever this targeting device looks at. So I bought into that at the end, right?
Okay.
So.
No, I was just curious. Maybe I missed it or something, but you explaining it has changed my opinion about it. So that's why I wanted to discuss it because, hey, I'm human. I'm not a predator. I make mistakes.
So.
All right. So let's talk about that final battle scene. All right. What did you think of it and how they went about it?
I like the build up to it, right? So she got captured by the French traders, and they made sure to show you in the camp there was at least 30 guys easily, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I also liked how they decided to use those 2 as bait. And then they set this girl up as she's supposed to be observant and smart, right? So she lets her brother know, hey, we're not really in danger here because we're not seen as threats.
Right.
But I think the whole point of that battle was just to show off the predator, right?
Right, yeah.
All the gadgets he has, all the cool ways he kills people, right? So I enjoyed it because it was such a big battle spectacular because you had these 30 guys with these muskets going against this predator. I mean, they were even hurting the predator, right? They would shoot him, blood would come out.
Yeah.
But just to see how he dealt with everybody, that was just a cool scene.
It was cool, and that's funny watching. They kept to the, with the way their guns were with the gunpowder and trying to load them up and take them down. And he had all this awesome technology which they have never seen before.
And then I liked also, okay, so you had this big battle. Then you take a slight breather. So you have her and her brother escape back to the camp. And then you had the one camper that knew how to speak Comanche come in. Mm-hmm. And they start to have this conversation like, hey, you have to help me. Mm-hmm. And again, it was just a way to set up the final battle because he basically gave her a gun to use. She saw that he had this device that had cut off his leg, so she took that, right, and that comes into play. And she also realized it was to build up like, hey, you take this herb that lowers your body core temperature, the predator can't see you, right? So again, it was a nice setup into the final battle where the predator comes in, right?
So. And then the final battle kind of plays homage to the first one with Arnold versus the Predator, right, where it's just a little different modern day version of someone else doing the same thing.
What do you think of the sacrifice of the brother to get his sister time to escape?
So here's my theory with this whole thing. Like, you look at this whole thing, this whole movie. It's the Naru, she's a bitch. She killed her brother.
That's harsh.
This is how I look at it, Kevin, because if she would have just stayed back at the camp like her family wanted her, No. She was jealous of her brother for being the greatest hunter in the tribe.
Oh,
she couldn't stand it, Kevin. She couldn't stand it. My brother, even though he was a good guy and said, initially we did this together when he killed the cat, the cougar. He said we, and then she was being all cunty. So he's like, you know what? It's not we, it's me. You fucked everything up. He tried to be the great brother, great leader. And she couldn't have it. She was jealous, so she takes off. And then everyone's looking for her, and everyone's getting whacked by the predator looking for her, and she's stubborn. And what happens? The great hunter, her brother, who loved her and tried to build her up, the leader that probably could have saved this tribe years down the road, is dead because of his sister.
That's a harsh take.
Tell me I'm wrong, Kevin. Tell me I'm wrong.
There's a truth to what you're saying for sure. They try to. It's funny too because I think they spent so much time with her viewpoint, so you don't necessarily take that approach to it, right? So.
Well, they don't want you to, right? They wanted her to look at it differently. But really, that's what it was. She was a spoiled, rotten brat. Couldn't stand. She was jealous of her brother. That's what it came down to. Jealousy.
Yes, I'll give you that point.
And even though the brother was worried about his sister, still sacrificed his life to save her, just so she ends up killing the predator, brings the head, and then is worshipped, so she got exactly what she wanted. All right, woo-hoo-hoo! Congratulations, you got what you wanted, but you killed your brother. You killed your brother.
Right.
What kind of sister are you? Something else, man. That tribe, I guarantee that tribe failed. Someone else was getting accolades, and she had him whacked or whatever, killed him. She just seemed like a horrible leader to me. But that was my opinion of Naru. But the movie overall was pretty good. I can't argue that.
So So the final battle when it's her against Predator alone. So obviously you had some complaints, right? You said, how is she strong enough to take him one-on-one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that they did a good setup. Like, okay, she's using her wits, right? She's setting up traps.
Mm-hmm.
She's trying to fight the Predator in her environment where she's in that med pit, right? They also showed time to say, hey, I have this helmet there, so he's trying to get him in a position where if he fires his gun, it'll kill him.
Right.
But she did do a lot of hand-to-hand combat with him for sure, right?
And that's the part that I just can't buy into, the hand-to-hand.
What do you think about him chopping off his hand to escape? Like, again, that's another foreshadow. She tells a story about the beaver. The beaver's trapped. What does the beaver do? Chops off its own leg.
Right.
And then she, she also brings that up with her brother, too, when they're trapped. Like, they have this bear trap. She uses her good little kit to cut the rope. And her brother thinks she can cut off her arm or something like that. And she says, I'm not a beaver, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think when the Predator had to cut off his own arm to get out of the trap that he set for himself?
That was cool. That was cool. He's a beaver. He's a beaver.
Again, another example of foreshadowing. Everything they do in this movie, I think, tries to foreshadow. So when you get to the final battle, you actually believe this little girl could take this 750-pound Predator by herself, right? So
I guess. I mean, they want you to believe that. I mean, they did a good job of trying to sell that,
Yes. I believed it. They got me, so.
I'll put it to you this way. If you've never seen the first one, let's say you're new and you're younger and you never saw the first Predator, and this was the first one you saw, okay. You're probably going to be, all right, I like, fantastic. But being an old school person that saw the first one, loved the first one, loved Arnold in it, it's a little hard for me to believe that she could. I mean, they did put a lot of time into strategy wise versus strength wise in here, and that was great. And the foreshadowing and everything was great. The one scene where she puts her hatchet in him, swings over, and has the string, and the string's gonna hold up, right? No, all right, you pull that monster over, and the fact that she's able to flip him, even if you got the moment, that thing's a giant. That scene I just didn't believe.
Sure, I'll give you that. I figured I'm not surprised by finding flaws in that because she is a little girl,
Yes.
150-pound girl going against his 750-pound predator. That's
Exactly.
just massive strength.
Right.
Right. So.
But again, going this route with this female lead taking down the predator, they did it the best possible way they could do to sell it to you, and it was a very entertaining, good movie, especially in this whole predator world, for sure.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Anything else you want to hit before we score this thing?
Did you stay and watch the credits?
No, I didn't. What happened in the credits?
Nothing major. It wasn't an actual live video scene, but you know when the credits started and they were just showing basically the story of the movie through drawings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they showed the bear scene, the predator scene,
Yep.
and so on and so forth. If you watch that, they did put a little teaser for the next potential movie. Because remember when she comes back and says, we have to get to more defensible ground. We're too in the open, right?
Yes.
So the final drawing they show was the tribe. And they showed like 2 or 3 predator ships coming in, right?
Oh.
So if they do a sequel to this movie, it could be the whole tribe against 2 or 3 predators. That might be interesting. So
Interesting. I didn't notice. I did notice, and I watched some of the credits, but I didn't think there would be anything hinting at that. That's a good catch.
they put a slight teaser in there. Hey, we would like to continue this story, and this is how we'd continue it, right? So
It's quite obvious they're gonna continue this because I'm sure the overall, audience score of this movie is gonna be very high because it was so well done.
yes.
So you can see it coming. So that's pretty cool. They put that in there just in case. That'll be an interesting concept to see how they handle that.
Yes.
But we know how that'll go, right? She killed her brother, right? She had her brother killed jealousy. So if someone ends up being a better fighter than her or something, she's going to have him killed by the predator.
Exactly.
So we know how that will end. This little tissy over here can't be second place ever. All right, so let's go ahead and score this thing. Overall, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst. What do you give this movie?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I think this is one of the top movies I've seen so far. I'm going to go high.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to give it a 9.
9? Wow. Is that the highest? Is this the best movie you've seen this year?
I think with you, the other one I gave a high similar score. I think the Dune movie, I probably gave the same score, right? So
Wow, a 9. I am blown away by that score. Blown away by that score. All right. Fair enough. You really liked it. Now, with that score, when we talked about doing this review, and were you like, or what was your initial reaction when you heard about this movie?
Prey itself?
Yeah.
I didn't think much of it. I've seen all the other Predators,
Yeah.
right? I seen the trailer. I thought the premise was interesting, but it's like, I said, how are they going to pull this off, right?
Yeah.
So, low expectations coming in. And I think what helped the movie is got back to the core basics of what a Predator movie should be, right?
For sure.
It helped that it was a tight movie.
Mm-hmm.
It helped that each scene built on the scene, like, they had a clear direction of where they wanted to go at the end goal. And also, I liked how they spent time on the character development at the beginning, right? So I was no expectations. I was just surprised.
Okay.
So
All
really
right.
enjoyed the movie.
That's great to hear. For my score, overall, I give this a 7.3.
That's like a 9 for you, dude. That's
7.3.
good.
It could have been, Kevin, honestly, this movie could have been way higher if I could believe she could beat the Predator hand-to-hand combat.
I'll give you that. That's a I get that's a limitation of the age of living, and she's got to fight it with a hatchet, right?
She's got to fight with a hatchet. and the bear scene where I didn't believe she was scared enough. Like I did not believe she was scared. Those two things, if I believe that, this would have been the high 8s. And the only other one that I would have scored in the high 8s was Spider-Man.
Yes.
All right. So Kevin gives it a 9.0. I give it a 7.3. That's our review for Prey. Thanks for watching.